Today, we dive into a document that raises a really uncomfortable question. Welcome to a new deep dive from Strategic Labs. As always, the original links are right there for you in the description.
So what are we really buying when we chase that cheapest ticket? Is it just a smart financial move, or are we accidentally buying a crisis that's just waiting to explode mid-trip? This is the core question we're going to unpack today, because the cheapest option on paper can end up costing you so much more when things go wrong. All right, let's get into our first big idea, the Mirage of Savings. We're going to look at how this modern obsession with cutting travel costs has created a massive blind spot, one that most companies don't even see until it's way too late.
Look, for the past couple of decades, corporate travel has been all about digitalization, automation, anything that promises concrete, measurable savings. And hey, that's understandable, but it's had a pretty dangerous side effect. Price has become the king, the one variable that trumps almost everything else.
This quote right here, it just nails it. When price is the only thing that matters, companies think they're reducing risk, but they're not. They don't make it disappear. They just move it. They displace it, packing it right into the traveler's luggage and shifting it from the planning stage to the unpredictable reality of the journey itself.
And that brings us to this huge difference between cost and value. The cost is what you see. It's the ticket price, the hotel bill. It's easy. But the real value? That's the stuff that's harder to see. It's your ability to respond in a crisis. It's traveler safety. It's knowing where your people are. And when we focus only on that immediate cost, we completely lose sight of the value that actually protects them. So let's dig into how this actually happens. We've seen the problem, now let's talk about the cause. The hunt for those cheaper fares, well, it often forces people to book outside of the very systems that were built to keep them safe. And that creates a massive systemic flaw. To really get what's breaking, you have to understand the old-school foundation of corporate travel, the GDS, or Global Distribution System. For a long time, this was the standard. It's a single, integrated system where everything is consistent, visible, and, predictable. It was built for control and for safety.
And here's why that system worked so well. The data is all in one secure place. The booking process is standardized. But the most important part? The company gets a complete passenger name record, a P&R. That gives them total visibility, so they can track and support their people. It's a closed, secure loop where risk is clearly managed.
But the moment you book outside that system to chase a cheaper deal, that secure loop shatters. Data gets entered manually, which means more errors. Security gets weaker. And that complete P&R we just talked about, it's now incomplete, fragmented. Suddenly, the company can't track its traveler, no one's quite sure who's responsible in a crisis, and that traveler basically falls right out of the safety net.
Which leads to this really thorny question. When your company's booking rules, designed to save money, end up clashing with your safety protocols, who is actually responsible for the traveler? And the source material is very clear on this. The organization cannot outsource this risk. They have to own it. So we've talked about the broken system. Now let's shift gears and focus on the person at the heart of this, the traveler. What are the real-world dangers they face because of these vulnerabilities?
Think about it. A cheaper ticket usually means a more complicated trip. A direct flight might cost more cash up front, sure, but it means less fatigue and way less risk. That cheaper flight with 2 layovers? Yeah, you saved a few bucks on the ticket, but you've just cranked up the traveler's fatigue and multiplied their exposure to risk at every single stop, making it that much harder to support them if something goes wrong.
And this risk isn't just about flights. Ground transportation is a huge weak spot. Picture a tired traveler landing late at night. They just want to get to their hotel, so they jump in the first car they see. But choosing an unvetted taxi or a ride-sharing app that's in some kind of legal gray area, that doesn't just put them at personal risk. It could actually void the company's insurance policy.
And that brings us to the moment of truth. What happens when a crisis actually hits? This is where everything comes to a head, and where we have to understand the most critical, and honestly, the most misunderstood concept in all of corporate travel.
Okay, if you only remember one thing from this whole analysis, please make it this slide. Insurance is not assistance. They are two totally different things. Insurance is a financial product. It's a passive promise to pay you back after something terrible has already happened. Assistance, on the other hand, is an active, operational service. They jump in real time to manage the crisis as it's happening. One is about money, the other is about action.
Let's make this crystal clear. If you have a medical emergency in a foreign country, you don't need an accountant to promise you a refund later. You need a doctor, now. You need someone who can navigate the local hospitals, who speaks the language, who can coordinate your care. That's what assistance does. Insurance just pays the bill afterward.
All right, so where do we go from here? It's pretty clear we need a new way of thinking. It's time to stop talking about just savings and start talking about building strategic resilience into our travel programs.
And look, fulfilling this duty of care, it's a two-way street. The traveler has to be smart, they need to be aware of their surroundings and make good choices. But the company has to lay the foundation. They have to build risk analysis into their buying process, create clear safety policies, guarantee access to that critical 24/7 assistance, and actually train their people on what to do.
So at the end of the day, what we really need to do is redefine efficiency. True efficiency isn't finding the cheapest flight. It's about being resilient. It's about being prepared for that one moment when a crisis hits. And believe me, the price of that plane ticket becomes the least important number in the entire world.
And so I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a good, hard look at your own company's travel program. Is it just designed for savings, or is it truly engineered for resilience? Is it built to protect your people when they need it the most?
We have reached the end of this extensive analysis. If it added value, share and subscribe to Strategic Labs. See you next time.